Hey, Abraham Gray here. I'm going to break down some properties that I've recently bought over the last couple years. I posted about them. I had a lot of questions. So I want to let everybody know more details about them. The first house I'm going to talk about is one that I bought in Decatur about 3.5 years ago. It was an owner finance that also had a sub 2 that the mortgage stayed in place. It was a really good deal. I paid $620,000 for it. The reason why the owner wanted to sell was because he was far behind on his payments. He couldn't make the payments and he had a lot of equity, so he wanted to sell it, but he also wanted to stay there. So I worked a deal where I did a lease purchase back to him and I gave him $70,000 up front of his equity, and he still had another $100,000 of equity that I told him I would give him in 4 years as a balloon with no interest. So we both agreed on that. He stayed in the house. I rented the house to him for $5,500, which was at least $1,000 over market, but that was a deal for him to stay there. My monthly PITI payments was $3,022. So I was making a good lick every single month on it, and he had the option to buy it back for me for a $50,000 profit above what I paid him for it. So that's the reason why he wanted to sell it, was because he had a lot of equity in it. He needed the equity. He was behind on payments. He didn't want to get foreclosed on. And I was able to at least purchase it back to him, which is usually a really bad idea when you're selling, when you're buying a house from someone that can't afford it. But because he had a $100,000 equity that I was going to pay him in 4 years, I knew if the worst comes to worst, I could always deduct what he owes me off that $100,000. So now we're 3.5 years later. It was a 3-year lease purchase. The 3 years went by. He couldn't afford to buy it. So he actually just moved out a few months ago. I just rehabbed the property and now I rented it out to somebody else, but only for $4,500, which was market. Again, I'm still making close to $1,500 a month on it. It was a really good deal. When I bought it, I paid $620,000 for it, and currently it is worth $750,000. So I bought it at a good price when I bought it, but it also went up a bunch in the last 3.5 years. So this ended up being a very good deal for me. It's very rare that I let somebody stay in a house after I buy it from them, especially when they couldn't afford to make the payments before. It's always a bad idea. It backfires basically 100% of the time. The reason why I was able to do it here again was because I owed him $100,000, so I had some leverage on him. So if something went wrong, which of course toward the end it did, I was able to deduct a lot of the money I owed him off what he owed me, so it ended up working out. But don't ever let somebody that you're buying the property from that couldn't afford the mortgage payment ever stay there unless you owe them a lot of money or have a lot of leverage, because I promise you, it very rarely, almost never works out. The other really good thing about this property was that he had a 2.9% interest rate. So most of the money that I was paying in payments, a lot of it, most of it was going toward principal. So I had a big principal pay down every single month since I've owned it almost 4 years ago now. All right, so let's talk about the second house that I posted about recently that a lot of people ask me about. So this is a strategy I use a lot. I buy 12 to 15 properties every single month, and I rehab probably a third of them, and then the other 2/3 I sell to other investors or figure out another way to get rid of them besides making them very, very nice. Because first off, it costs a lot of money to rehab all these properties and it takes a lot of time. I like turning my money over. So if I get a good deal, I'm gonna buy it, and then after I buy it, I decide, am I gonna rehab the whole thing, or am I just gonna do a partial rehab, or am I gonna just flip it to somebody else? So this particular property was a property that I bought March 26th for $408,000 in Roswell, Georgia, which is a really good town. And this particular house needed a full update, but it was a really nice property. It didn't need to be cleaned out. Everything was good. So I ended up letting a friend of mine market it for me, and within like 10 days, it was sold and the person bought it, paid cash, and I ended up selling that one for $445,000. So that was a pretty good deal. I made a quick $30-some thousand within less than 10 days. And that is a strategy I use a lot. Usually I don't make that much money on these, but this was a more expensive house in a nicer area. Usually I buy homes for around $150,000 to $200,000, and I make a quick $20,000 or $25,000 on them, sometimes 15, sometimes even less, depends. But most of the time I do this strategy, I actually go in there after I buy it, I spend $1,000, $2,000, sometimes $5,000 or more, make the house more desirable. I fix all the major stuff, I get rid of all the mold, I make sure it smells good, and that makes people want to buy it for more money than if I just sold them right the way it is. I always clean out the houses too. Most of the houses I buy are full of junk, And I always make sure I clean them out so when someone goes to look at it, it's ready to rehab. They don't have to do any clean out. It's clean and they can see the whole house. So it's very important when you're buying so many properties to not rehab them all, because I would say that if I was to rehab every property I have, I mean, I would just have tens of millions of dollars tied up. It just doesn't make sense. I like keeping a certain amount of money tied up all the time, and I like to do the ones that I'm gonna make the most profit on. So the ones that I know that I'm gonna make $40,000 if I fix it up, if I can make 25 or 30, a lot of times I'll just let those go. It saves me a few months, 3, 4, 5 months, and having to come up with a whole lot more money. And I still make a good profit, and I'm able to buy a lot of those. So 2 strategies. One, take it, rehab the whole thing, and make all the money on it. Costs more money, takes a lot more time, and you just can't do a quantity like that. You just have to have a lot of good crews. You have to be able to have a lot of extra money to tie it up. So it makes more sense for me to sell a lot of them to other investors, whether they want to keep them for rentals or they want to do their own fix and flips, make a little bit less, let them make what they're going to make, and move on. So another question I get asked a lot is how do I find so many properties to buy and sell? So I've been doing this a long time. I've been building connections for a long time. I go to every single meetup that I have time to go to, local meetup. I join every Facebook group in my town that I'm looking to buy in. I'm always posting stuff. I'm always commenting on other people's posts. On my own social media, I post a lot of the deals that I buy so people know what I'm doing. And every single day, I have people that just send me deals. I usually get 100 emails just of deals every single day. Out of those 100 deals, 99 point something of those percent of that is garbage. But if you can get like one good deal every day or two, that's what I'm targeting. That's what I'm looking for. So again, you've got to network a lot. You've got to buy, show people that you're serious, and then other people talk about you. Oh man, if you get a property, sell to him, he buys a lot. So over time, I've been able to buy a lot off wholesalers. And then of course we have our own acquisition team, and then I buy a lot on foreclosure auctions. So if you see some of my videos, I posted a bunch recently on different foreclosure days that we have on properties I buy. I'm usually buying at least 3 properties at a foreclosure auction. And again, if I'm buying 12 to 15, that's 20, 25% of what I buy every single month from the foreclosures. I probably buy another couple direct from my own acquisition team, and then the rest, they come from wholesalers. They come from attorneys, real estate attorneys that send leads to me. They come from mortgage brokers that send leads to me, and they come from a lot of real estate agents that give me pocket listings or listings that they know people want to sell, but they just want a quick sale. So that's how I get all my properties. So the third thing I'm going to talk about here are some of the properties that I just bought at the last auction, not even 2 weeks ago, a week and a half ago. So I bought 2 properties on this particular month. One was in College Park, and I paid $148,700 for it. I thought it was not going to be in that great a shape, and I got really lucky. So we went there after the auction, and it was in really good shape. It was like immaculate. So we ended up doing some rehab to it the last week. We spent $5,000, $7,000 on the very, very high side, and we're about to put it on the market, and we think it's going to sell for about $240,000. So when I first bought that one, I thought we were going to end up spending $40,000, $50,000 on it. The reason why is because when you buy foreclosure homes, and there's no way to get inside and look at it, and the windows were all closed, and there was no way to know exactly what condition it was in. So you just got to assume the worst, or at least you can't assume it's going to be really good unless you've seen it. So I would have probably bid a lot more on it if I knew what condition it was in, but just like myself, most people didn't know what condition it was in, so it only went for this. And what it actually went for was about the highest I was going to pay. I wasn't going to bid a whole lot more. Luckily, I won it because this is going to be a really good home run. I'm going to sell it for like $240,000. I'm probably going to have $155,000 in it. It was $85,000 gross. I'm probably going to have another, $10,000 plus so of realtor fees and stuff. So it's still a really, really good deal. All right. The next home I bought at the auction was a home that was in Marietta, Georgia, which is a great town here. Stuff sells really, really hot there. This was one that I bought really cheap. It was kind of concerned me because I was going to pay like way more than I paid. So after I bought it, I was like, oh shit, like there's got to be something to it. But I paid $90,000 for it. And this particular house I know is worth $275,000 fixed up. I went to the home afterwards, and there is someone that lives in there. They're going to make me evict them. They're not going to leave. I try to pay them to leave. They just are stubborn. I don't know exactly what it looks like inside. I was able to peek in, and I was able to ask them some questions. and I could tell the house is in really, really bad shape. So I'm assuming this house is gonna need a $75,000 to $90,000 rehab. But again, it's worth $275,000 and I only spent $90,000 on it. So it should be a really good one. I don't know exactly what it looks like yet inside, but when I do, I will tell you about it. Maybe I'll make a video over there if you guys wanna see it, as well as the one that I just finished, the one in College Park. I will go there next week and make a video of that, just so you can kind of see what it looks like, although it's been rehab, but I literally spent $5,000 to $7,000 on it. So I didn't do a whole lot of rehab because it was already in good shape. So on the next video, make sure you tune in and check out what those look like. So if you guys have any other questions about real estate, deals I've done, deals I haven't done, just leave the questions in the comment and I'll be answering all those questions. And if they're really cool questions that there's a lot to talk about, we'll make a video about it. See you guys next time.